Right, welcome back to another video on this channel, and first of all, let's address the elephant in the room. As you can see by the badge on my top here and all the stuff in the background, I'm a Chelsea fan, and the territory with being a Chelsea fan means that I absolutely adore Frank Lampard. I have a lot of loyalties towards Frank Lampard as a man, and yeah, quite frankly, to not underestimate whatsoever, he's the greatest man to ever exist. But no, in all seriousness, I'm going to try and put my biases towards Frank Lampard aside in this video, and yeah, just give a level-headed opinion and give my general opinion, my genuine opinion on Frank Lampard being sacked by Everton. And look, my instant thought is the fact that I think it's really harsh, to be honest. I think it's incredibly harsh on Frank Lampard, and don't get me wrong, with the form Everton have been on recently, I don't think Lampard should be void of any blame whatsoever or any criticism whatsoever. That's not what I'm saying, but I just think that it absolutely reeks so badly of the Everton board wanting to shift the blame onto someone else to, clear their own backs. To be honest, that's exactly what I think it is, and I don't think it would be any different if it was any other manager other than Frank Lampard in charge as well. I think it didn't matter who the manager was. I think the Everton board, regardless of the manager, were going to do the same thing, and we're going to sack the manager to, shift the blame onto someone and give someone to blame, and just hope that the next manager comes in and is able to give a new manager a bounce and take a lot of pressure off the Everton fans who have been absolutely up their arses over the last while now. And look, don't get me wrong, I don't think, as I said, Lampard is, void of 100% criticism, to be honest, because Everton sit 19th in the Premier League at this moment in time. In their last 10 games in all competitions, they've, lost 8 games and drawn 2, which is just not acceptable, to be honest, for a club of Everton's size and where Everton Football Club want to be, and to be honest, should be with the size of the club and the fan base. And yeah, the mood around the club at this moment in time is at an all-time low, and I think Lampard, as I said, shouldn't be void of it because he is the face of Everton Football Club right now, as, every manager is when they are managing a football club in the Premier League especially, and yeah, he is the one that sets up the team or whatever, but I just think the Everton board have hung him out to dry, to be honest. I think that they've really set him up to fail, and I just think that Everton are one of those clubs, they're toxic. They're so toxic at this moment in time, and it's not the fans' fault because the fans are the reason probably why they're still in the Premier League, to be honest with you. But let's make no mistake about it, let's make no bones about it, let's have no bullshit. Everton are an absolute shambles. They're a horrendously run club. They're probably the worst run club in the Premier League, to be honest, at this moment in time. And look, it feels like not long ago that things were actually going well for Frank Lampard at Everton. I mean, first of all, he did absolute wonders in my opinion, or not wonders, but he did well to keep them up last season with how horrendous they were, to be honest, and how stale the football club was going and the direction it was going. I think he did a good job in keeping them up last season, and then built on that momentum this season, started off the season quite well. It wasn't long ago, it doesn't feel like long ago, that Everton had one of the best defensive records in the Premier League. It didn't feel like long ago when everyone was ranting and raving about Frank Lampard turning Alex Iwobi from a £35-40 million flop into one of the best number 10s in the league and one of Everton's most exciting players at this moment in time. Doesn't feel like long ago when Frank Lampard was rejuvenating Jordan Pickford, who was seen as a laughingstock in the Premier League and now is, firmly England's number 1 again and has been playing really well for a good amount of time now, Jordan Pickford. And look, it felt like the writing was on the wall for Frank Lampard for a number of weeks now. Obviously, the West Ham game was the final nail in the coffin for the Everton board, and I just think that, as I said, I think they needed to sack him simply to, watch their own backs and mind their own backs and relieve some of the pressure that these Everton fans have been giving them by hoping that a new manager can come in, get a new manager bounce and take some pressure off them, which is cowardice, to be honest, from them. And then you look at the interview that one of their owners, Farhad Mashiri, came out, I think it was with TalkSport he did it with, and he came out and he had the audacity to say that the Everton fans were part of his thinking, and the Everton fans partly decided, that all the managers, when Rafa Benitez was appointed, and Everton fans literally roamed the streets to protest against him for months on end, really. And look, what's next for Everton is the next thing we get onto. Manager-wise, Marcelo Bielsa is the bookies' favourite at this moment in time, and I just think, what's the point? What's the point in getting Bielsa now? I mean, I can understand it if it's, in the off-season where maybe he gets a pre-season to drill his football and his style of play and his way of playing into these Everton players, but halfway through a season where Everton are in a relegation scrap, they're in real danger of going down for the first time in Premier League history for them. I don't think Bielsa is a manager who's equipped to deal with this scenario, and can you imagine these Everton players trying to play a Bielsa ball? Can you just imagine it? I mean, they'd be falling over themselves. I think it could go terribly wrong, and don't get me wrong, Bielsa's a very good coach. I actually think he's a really good manager, but I just think that Everton don't have the tools whatsoever to, play the way Bielsa wants to play and have Bielsa set up this team the way he wants them to set up. The second favourite, Duncan Ferguson, I think that would just be a lazy and laughable appointment. I mean, yeah, maybe he takes over for 2 or 3 games or whatever, and until a new permanent manager can be, appointed. But I just think that if they give him the job till the end of the season or on a permanent basis, it just once again reeks of laziness, to be honest. And oh yeah, we'll just give it to Ferguson, see what happens. The Everton fans love him, so hopefully they'll leave us alone. Then there's Sean Dyche there, who, don't get me wrong, would probably 100% keep Everton up, to be honest, or 99% anyway. But then what? then what? I mean, Everton will be probably lounging around in the bottom half of the table for the next few years, playing uninspiring football. If you look at it, right, Everton are a club with rich history. They're a massive club with an unbelievable fan base, right? They want to be having European nights. They deserve to be at least competing for Europe at the very minimum, whether that's Conference League or Europa League. And yeah, Everton are a club of massive potential if they were to get things right at boardroom level, which, you know, they're a long way off doing at this moment in time, obviously. But, and look, if it was in my hands, I would give it to David Moyes, to be honest. I think David Moyes probably makes the most sense in terms of the fact that he's a cult hero at Everton. He knows Goodison Park. He knows Everton as a club inside and out. He's, you know, equipped for this sort of position. I mean, he took over West Ham in a very similar position, and within a year or two got them playing Europa League football. I think his style of football as well would be, you know, perfect for this scenario as well. It's not too, you know, expansive in terms of Bielsa ball, where it's, you know, all out attacking play, but it's also not too negative to the point where, you know, you're boring the fans. Yeah, obviously he's not doing exceptionally well at West Ham this season, but I just think that his CV over the last few years shows that he's still equipped as a Premier League manager, and I think he would do a very good job at Everton in the short term anyway. And actually, here's another thing as well. If you look at all the candidates on the Everton shortlist for the new manager, you look at Bielsa, Dyche, Ferguson, Moyes, all have different playstyles, completely different playstyles. I mean, there's just absolutely no sense of direction whatsoever at the top for Everton. And yet, make no mistake about it, like I alluded to at the start of the video as well, there's a massive clear out needed at Everton. I mean, at boardroom level, the recruitment team is horrendous. Their recruitment over the years, given the money they've spent, has been an absolute disgrace, to be honest. And look, don't get me wrong, there is potential to work with in that Everton squad this season to keep them up if they can get the right manager in. You know, they've got Amadou Onana, who I think is a very good young midfielder. Jordan Pickford, who's a good, you know, goalkeeper at this level. Danjuma's in on loan now. Tarkowski, I think, is a decent Premier League level centre-back. Alex Iwobi, who, you know, has turned into quite a decent player now for Everton. Anthony Gordon, who's young. Damari Gray, who, you know, has been a decent player at times for Everton. But yeah, the next manager appointment now for Everton is absolutely massive, to be honest. They have to get it right, or they could be in real trouble of, you know, facing relegation and Championship football for the first time in the Premier League era in the history of their club, to be honest. And that's a real threat now for Everton fans, and I think that they acknowledge it as well, to be fair. But yeah, Everton fans, have I hit the nail on the head, or am I talking absolute shit, or somewhere in between? Let me know in the comment section below. And obviously, you know, on non-Everton fans as well, leave your suggestions and leave your comments as to where Everton go next, and was it the right decision to sack Frank Lampard as well, of course. And yeah, leave a like on the video if you did enjoy. It'd be massively appreciated. And also, if you could subscribe to the channel as well, that would also be hugely appreciated. We are looking to hit 1,800 subscribers on this channel as soon as we possibly can, so any subscription obviously helps us get there quicker. And yeah, I'll see you guys in my next video.